Howdy everyone, David here with Tabletopping.net, and this is a continuation of my Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Player's Handbook Classes Reviews, and this video talks about the monk, and this tells you all of the different things pertaining about the monk. And you'll notice, if you have the Dungeons & Dragons basic rules that you've downloaded off of the D&D website, you'll notice that in the classes section there is not a monk class. So therefore that means that you have to have the Player's Handbook to have these rules to incorporate playing a monk in your D&D 5e game or campaign. So for the monk, there are 6 really nicely detailed pages with beautiful art that has everything pertaining for the monk as they increase in level and in power. Now, you'll also notice that there's some information here on the history of monks, and also a little bit of information on creating a monk. Now, you'll also notice that in Dungeons & Dragons, there's class features, and what this means is whenever you do play a character in D&D 5e, every class gets these features, and what this does is it's self-explanatory. As your characters grow in level, you gain more powers, you gain more different tricks, and it gives your character a lot more flavor as you advance. So as you can see here on the matrix, the monk has levels 1 through 20, and it does talk about the proficiency bonus. It's a unarmed martial bonus, martial arts bonus, key points, which is basically the main mechanic of the monk. There's the unarmored movement, and the features here that have everything that you get as you level from 1 to 20. So, starting with the class features here, the monk gets a D8 hit points. It also talks about the proficiencies, the armor, weapon, and different tool proficiencies that the monk would get. The skill proficiencies, there's a list to choose several from. And the saving throw proficiencies for the monk is strength and dexterity. Also, there's a couple options for starting equipment if you want to grab something really quick. And you'll notice at level 1 you get unarmored defense. Also at level 1 you get martial arts, which is basically, as you level and progress, your unarmed attack or weapon attacks that you're proficient in will increase in damage, even if say you're using the short sword and the short sword stays a certain amount, and then you can actually do more over time to a D8 or a D10. So martial arts is actually a pretty nice mechanic for the monk. Next is the key, and the key points are you get X amount of points to spend during an encounter or during a day. And over here you'll see that you have 3 different things that you can spend your key points on: Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. And then once you're out of key points, then you have to get a rest to get your key points back. And lastly, if you need to make any key saves, it's going to be off of your wisdom ability. Now at 2nd level you're going to get unarmored movement. At 3rd you're going to gain a monastic tradition, and the monastic tradition we'll talk about in just a second. Now at 3rd level you're also going to get deflect missiles. At 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th you're going to get what are called ability score improvements, and these are for every class in D&D 5e. And what this does is, at those specified levels, you're going to get 2 ability points that you can put into 1 stat, or you can take those 2 points, split it up, and put 1 point into each ability, up to 2 abilities. Now, you can't take an ability over a 20 naturally through, using ability score improvements. Now, there's also in the optionals feature of the Player's Handbook, you can also change this out. Instead of taking your ability score improvement, you can change it out for a feat. And there's about 6 to 8 pages of feats that you can choose from. But like I said, it is an optional feat, and it is up to your dungeon master. Depends on if he or she wants to allow you to do that. So at level 4 you get slow fall. At level 5 you get extra attacks. At level 5 you get stunning strike. At 6th level you get key empowered strike. 7th you get evasion. Also at 7 you get stillness of mind. At 10th you get purity of body. At 13th, you get Tongue of the Sun and Moon. 14th, you get Diamond Soul. 15th, you get Timeless Body. 18th, you get Empty Body. And 20th, you get Perfect Self. You'll notice that the monk gets a massive amount of, flavor for the monk class. And like I had mentioned, your monastic traditions, once you hit 3rd, this is how it goes. In D&D 5e, there are archetypes that go along with your class, and every class gets these archetypes. And the monk is no different. They have several different monastic traditions, and the first is the Way of the Open Hand, which is more combat orientated, and you'll get the Open Hand Technique, you'll get the Wholeness of Body, you'll get Tranquility, that is at 11th level. Then you'll get Quivering Palm, sort of like a Kill Bill move, at 17th. There's also the monastic tradition Way of Shadow, which is more sort of like a stealthy type of monk. And you get this, when you get this and choose this type of monastic tradition, you get Shadow Arts. At 6th level, you get Shadow Step. At 11th level, you get Cloak of Shadows. And at 17th, you get Opportunist. There's also another monastic tradition called the Way of the Four Elements. And this is probably the most complex of the monastic traditions. And what this does is it brings the elements into play for your monk. And you get to spend key points. You get spells as well, but they're not your traditional types of spells. Now, when you do choose the Way of the Four Elements, you get these elemental disciplines, and this is the full list that you get. Some of them are level required, but you get things like Breath of Winter, Clench of the Northern Wind, Elemental Attunement. You get Eternal Mountain Defense, Fangs of the Fire Snake, Fist of Four Thunder, Fist of Unbroken Air, Flames of the Phoenix, Gong of the Summit, and there's just a massive list of them. And a lot of them have requirements, but it's like the Way of the Four Elements. You can specialize in one element, or you can be diverse and use all of the different elements. So the Way of the Four Elements is actually kind of intriguing, and it actually gives you the most flavor for your monk. So I hope this has helped out. You can see that there are 6 pages chock full of information with beautiful art as well. This is not in the player's handbook. Well, the free basic rules, as I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is player's handbook only content. So you're going to need to pick this book up, which I really highly recommend you doing. So I hope this has helped out to inspire you on playing a monk. Please feel free to leave a comment below. Please feel free to also subscribe to the channel. And until next time, my name is David from tabletopping.net, and happy gaming.